we see fans as, I guess, the most passionate advocates of a brand. They sort of represent cultural, community, collaborative kinds of forces. And that's the most exciting thing about being an advocate, is that they are actually part of different layers of experiences and communications that brands are really keen to be part of.
Well, welcome, Julie and Michelle from Household. We're so excited to talk to you. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. It's brilliant to be here.
Let's start with just level set on a definition, because we're going to talk about something a lot in this conversation. I want to make sure we hear it from you, how you define it. Brand experience. How do you define that?
Okay. Well, I'll take that one, shall I? Well, first of all, brand experience is what we get up every single day to do. We're passionate about it. But I think the key thing is to say that it's not to be confused with experiential marketing, because that's often a temporary pop-up brand activation to raise awareness, and it doesn't run as deep as brand experience. So it's a subtle difference, but it's really important. There's three key things that matter in brand experience and define brand experience, I would say. So firstly, it describes a tangible and emotional experience that customers have while interacting with a brand. It's very emotional, and we try and get to every aspect of customers. It includes thoughts, feelings, perceptions, and just all sorts of reactions to the brand, so they feel close to the brand, and we want to start to have them feel part of the brand. Secondly, brand experience is an holistic approach, and it combines elements of user experience, customer experience, brand identity, all in one. It's about the long-lasting impression that customers have of a brand, or guests of a brand. And then thirdly, it covers every touch point across the customer journey. So we design and curate experiences that we want people to talk about, and we want people to share them. It's how they'll be motivated to participate in a brand and enjoy interactive inspiration with a brand. So it's brand experience, but it's one where the customer or the guest is equally responsible for that experience and relationship. Guests and customers, they may want guidance with lifestyle wants and choices. We'll help them do that. And it's really where the brand story, products and services come together with that emotional connection, all in one place. And all of those 3 points matter because they're all highly commercial elements. We're here as a business. We love what we do, but they're highly commercial. And that point is very key to brand experience design.
Yeah, thank you for that. I think that distinction between brand experience and brand activation is probably often misinterpreted or confused. And it's what you're describing is so much bigger, so much more evergreen than a simple activation. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. And we will get into some of the amazing stories and the brands that you've brought to life with this philosophy. But I'd love to talk a little bit about Household. I know that this has been decades in the making of an agency, of an incredible team that you all have built. And so you guys are an independent creative agency with a big conscience, living in London and New York and LA. And you're also a B Corp, which is exciting. And let's zoom in on that, because as an agency, you guys release fame, fans, and fortune with any brand. But too often you witness fortune at the expense of people on the planet, right? So I'd love to hear more. If you would tell us about the B Corp certification process and what led you to pursue it.
Okay. And you're absolutely right, Bethany, to talk about that, because fortune is not just about money. It's also what's good for the planet and for people. Well, first of all, I could tell this in a very long way or a succinct way. And you'll be relieved to know I'm going to go through this for the succinct way, because B Corp is a really, really rigorous process to go through. And it's all about demonstrating a business, and in this case, Household's high standards of performance, our accountability, transparency, and that's on factors from everything from employee benefits to charitable giving to supply chain practices to sustainability to DEI and beyond. It's really, really, really important stuff. And then in applying for the B Corp, which probably took about a year, we tackle the assessment, the legal and the verification aspects to get that certification. And a few of us in the business were part of going through the process. So it's very much a piece of teamwork, but it really sits at the heart of what Household is and does. I suppose the thing that I would say is that pursuing that certification and going through that rigorous process is what helps us to stay on top of our game all the time. We know it's really, really worth it. We're really proud to have achieved it. And it's something a standard that we set ourselves by. And we will help any other business who wants to achieve this. We'll advise them on how they can do it because we really believe in it.
I'm gonna throw in a quick question here. Household, the name. What's the origin of that?
Nish.
I love that. It's totally off key. Well, you know what? There's something about the name Household that we love, that it has stood the test of time and stands the test of time today and hopefully going forward. It's really, the name came from representing a place where people, want to be. And actually, we thought as much of that for ourselves and the people who work within Household and the types of people that might come in and out of Household, who would have different skills and different characters and different personalities and bring something special to the table, as well as how that might be for the brands, that we work with. And Household is really this very encompassing place that really represents what we do and has all of that kind of changeability in it too, the flexibility within it.
And it has different dynamics as well at different times. So just like any household, there's positives and negatives, but it's all really part of the rich pattern of it. Yeah. And it's funny because when you think about a household, you think about how everybody works together in a household, and collaboration has always been a really big part of our story, collaboration, and now we're talking about partnerships, so partnerships with different experts and so on. So we're quite pleased that the name Household has endured.
Yeah.
Thank you. We could talk about Household for quite a long time actually, but the idea of warmth and humanity and ethics, it's a theme that comes through everything that we do, and it's a big part of it.
Yeah, and we're 20 years old now, so we co-founded 20 years ago, so yeah.
It evokes a feeling and it comes through when you hear the name, and I love names that do that. This commitment to, creating sustainable impact for colleagues, those around you, your communities, the world. Talk to us about how it's showing up in some of the work you're doing, recent projects. Would love to learn more.
I would say, well, first of all, also linked with the household thing, we really wanted to serve a values-based community, and we wanted to hold ourselves to account. So in terms of the work that we do, we make sure that the businesses that we work with are in sync. Also, the businesses that we have chosen to work for and have chosen to work with us, tend to be businesses that actually want to positively impact the world, because we know it is a really vital KPI for future business success. I think the other thing about this is that we have 4 pillars of our offer: brand strategy and purpose, brand expression, experience design, and impact. The 4th pillar is impact. So this is key to a brand's future. And for us, B Corp is a big part of that and how we work with clients. So how being B Corp has influenced us in a way is that we've set up a DEI unit. So, we've been inspired to do that. Our entire team at Household is also inspired to do that. It's run by a specialist in the design team, and he educates us. He and also our clients with various talks and events and regular comms. And at the moment it's Pride Month, for example, so we have a few events around that, both in the studio and externally for others. The second thing is we set up a sustainability team. We've got some incredible designers who are just brilliantly au fait with sustainability and the various issues and regulations and the best kinds of materials to use and so on. And they make sure that as far as we're able, we recommend entirely sustainable materials to clients and also products. And these team members, they all have accredited qualifications, and really they're just awesome. And we embed these principles into every aspect of our methodology.
I'm going to pull out a little bit more from you on this, because when we've talked before, and you mentioned a couple examples of things you've either implemented or proposed that were just so incredibly memorable and innovative, using coffee beans or perhaps using pet hair. And I know that's a strange way to tee up a question, but you take it from here. Talk about like tactile materials, things you're doing and suggesting to brands to really live this truth.
Yeah, we have done that. Yeah, actually, the coffee beans, the coffee and the pet hair, you don't really want to associate the two together, but
True.
No,
especially as we're drinking coffee. But we have looked at, in working with different, with a coffee client, we used furniture that was made from coffee beans, recycled from coffee cups and all sorts of things. The pet hair we have done a piece of work for a pet care brand, and the materials there had to be particularly durable, as you can imagine, but also particularly sensitive to, what might not poison pets and so on. So there's some interesting things that we've incorporated into that sustainability, and also some really fun stuff.
Yeah. It's great.
Let's talk about fans. What is a fan, as you would define it, and how does Household leverage data to help brands maximize their own fan base?
Fans is right up there for us. And I think, it's interesting because the question that you asked about Household and people, people have been at the essence of everything Household is about internally, and the people that we serve and design for in many ways. And fans is really a very important space that we're interested in creating, a cohort that we're interested in creating for the brands that we work with. So we see fans as, I guess, the most passionate advocates of a brand. And they sort of represent cultural, community, collaborative kinds of forces. And that's the most exciting thing about being an advocate, is that they are actually part of different layers of experiences and communications that brands are really keen to be part of. This matters because fans are hugely valuable customers. They're highly engaged, as I just said. So there are many statistics actually in this realm. The most dominant statistic is that fans make up the most highest engaged customers. We call them fans, make up around 10 to 20%. Say of a customer base, but they're often as much as up to 80% of the revenue of a business. So this is hugely important. They're a massively powerful group, and it's different to influencers. We see it in a different way. These guys are authentically influential. They're doing that naturally in their social circles. They're sharing, and so on, and they very much want to be part of a brand. So our mission at Household is to turn customers into fans, because this is good for people. They enjoy it. They have fun. They're interested. Brands can relate to them better, and obviously it's good for brands in terms of business. So to answer your question around, how do we find out about them and data? Our aim is fundamentally to connect with them through our own tools and methods. And we've been doing this for quite some time. And, we're always in the business of evolving how we do things. So for us, it's about marrying transactional data with rich behavioral and attitudinal customer data. We call this almost human eye-level data. So we see lots of big statistics. We see, that kind of big data enforcing big themes, that we see playing out globally. We like this human eye-level data, which is actually more related to the challenges and opportunities a brand faces. And that's the augmented data that we find that we lean into. And actually what this does for us is give us this, what we call a supercharged fan lens. We need this because we want to create stronger insights. We want to develop propositions, and we want to guide decision making around how we create and what we're doing to create experiences, new formats, the creative expression that Julie described, interactions, innovations, and so on. We might even use data to say, okay, well, where should we put a store or venue? And what types of services and products should that format sell? So there's lots of richness in it and lots of important stuff. So I think for our part, we've always worked with data as a strategic creative agency. And in many ways, I guess these are the ingredients to creating, these highly engaged, high value customers, aka fans. And it's really what differentiates brands in the market for growth.
Yeah. Your success in generating fandom, like it comes through loud and clear when you go through and look at your work across retail, entertainment, hospitality, well-being, all kinds of categories that you're working in. There's this one piece of work that stands out when you go look at Household and what they do, and it's what you did in the Flatiron District of New York with Harry Potter. It's a flagship store there. And I think whether you're a huge Harry Potter fan or not, you can look at that work and just appreciate the scope of what you did, the details of what you brought to life. I mean, it's a magnificent case study and speaks right to the heart of what you're talking about. What from that project, when you look back on it, kind of stands out most to you?
It's really interesting that you say that about the Harry Potter. Sorry, I'll give it its proper name. The official Harry Potter flagship store, New York. The thing about it was, it was a true fandom in the sense it had to appeal to fans. And really the essence of it was creating a gathering place for fans. And, the central idea for this was a point of pilgrimage. So it was a place that people could go to at point of entry. You could go in and have all of these experiences. But actually, really the sort of the long-term future to thinking about it is that it, to your point, should appeal to fans or not yet fans or friends of fans. There are lots of different kinds of groups that come into this store, and everyone should be able to get something from it and understand it on different levels. So the ways in which we sort of created those experiences, we knew that we were either going to appeal to visitors and tourists, let's call them that, coming through the door, just seeing what this thing is, to super fans who are looking for secrets and Easter eggs and the stuff that only, if you know, you know. And so we were working at multiple levels to ensure that, there was something for everybody, and that each time you would come back, you might see something new. And there's this wonderful phrase that we used a lot to inspire the work that we did, which was hiding in plain sight. And that is a very Harry Potter-esque line and story. It definitely inspired all the things that we did, around in those experiences. So they're not so obvious, you have to kind of like discover them, find them. I think the thing about the store that we're truly proud of is that it looks and feels like entertainment. There's food and beverage experiences, that are kind of super engaging and interesting. But with that, we've also programmed retail commerciality into every part of this flagship. So sales have been phenomenal, well surpassing projections. And I guess this is the fundamental that makes this work ultimately successful. But to name some of the things that we love, it's the world's first butterbeer bar, personalized experience. There's one battles, there's a number of things that you can do to engage with the app, to unlock secrets, to unlock, fun games and, and obviously discounts and access to other things. So there's plenty of different types of experiences operating on different levels. I think, also working with a very specialist and multiple team of experts from Warner Brothers to the Blair Project, which is J.K. Rowling's company, to Cod Steaks, who are a wonderful company that we work with to sort of fabricate a lot of the sort of the creatures that we designed and so on. And, there are many, many specialists involved, prop designers, technical, digital effects. So just the sort of the sheer scale of the undertaking beyond the inception of it was pretty phenomenal, because actually it came to life. It came to life during lockdown. So, when another point of pride was seeing, the flagship opened on CNN, which was super exciting for everybody, seeing it on the TV. Obviously, we weren't able to be there, but, watching the fans and seeing people snaking around the block, waiting to get in, the excitement about it was like, wow, okay, this is something fresh and new.
It really does. I mean, actually, it's brilliant hearing Mish talk about it now and just sort of it's reminded me everything that went into it. It was so much part of our life for 3 years, but it makes me think that actually everything about new retail is in that store. It's encompassed in that store. But and when you're actually asking what are the standout things, there's a key thing that's happened right from the get-go. It's unbelievable. People get engaged to be married in the centre there, and it's happening all the time.
Wow.
I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't end up having a marriage license in there, so people actually get married there. But that is the depth. That is the involvement of the fans. It's incredible.
Wow. And I guess there's the age range appeal as well.
Yeah. It's a very sensorial place, actually. The sounds and it's very evocative.
My mind starts to melt when I think about the gravity of being handed an assignment like this. Because I think, the knowledge you have to have, the ramp up you need to go through. But it's not just, hey, can we do something great? It has to pass muster with some pretty hardcore fans that know more about this brand and this story than even you all did. So that's big. And I guess I just want to call out and applaud your ability to orchestrate all of the subject matter experts and things, because I think that's probably the biggest part of the job, is just bringing in the right people at the right time to have a beautiful effect on the output, because it's just a lot. it seems overwhelming.
It's really good. And our creative director, Sulan Choi, she is actually a super fan. Who would have known that at the beginning? But gosh, she was an incredible, she waved the wand. She really did.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, that goes a long way.
As you are at an exciting moment in the history of Household where you're expanding in a very intentional way your footprint in the US, I'm really curious to know what industries you're focused on. There's obviously history of all the case studies you have across so many different industries, but where is your focus? How are you directing your energy in the next year and 2 years?
That's also a great question. Thank you, because we're so excited about this. And obviously been working in the States, for 10, 12 years, but we're just excited about the possibilities there. And our focus really is around the industries that, the brands that have a bigger, richer stories to tell, and they want to connect with their fans in lots and lots of different ways. Everything there is bigger, isn't it? It's bigger and richer. And it's, and I think that applies to the stories as well. So we're very excited about getting stuck in there. We've got 5 key areas that we want to work in, our areas of expertise. So food and grocery, and this is everything from how we influence new ways to shop, both physical and digital. But there are things around inspiration and cost of living and so on. We're really, really inspired by the opportunities in the food and grocery business because it affects all of our lives. It's quite political as well, and the whole kind of have to think about people's purses when we're designing for them as well. Entertainment is another really, really important one for us. And we've just talked about Harry Potter New York, but that's retail with entertainment right at its core. And the thing for us about working in the entertainment industries is there are lots of commercial opportunities to bring retail in, to bring, bringing iconic shows to life and bringing IP to life in different ways so that fans can access and buy into the shows that they love in lots and lots of different ways, in lots, sort of anywhere and everywhere. So that's entertainment. Luxury, we have a lot of experience in that field, particularly luxury as it relates to not only retail but also hospitality as well, and the two are often linked. Obviously, we're thinking a lot here around personalization, around membership, and around different tiers of luxury. So we love that. Health and beauty, of course, health and beauty linking with wellness and also actually linking with healthcare. And we're finding that because of our approach and our methodology, we're ticking the boxes with healthcare businesses because we are able to think about how customers, guests, patients are accessing healthcare. And it's a really, really interesting territory for us. And then actually, I suppose what I also should say is that healthcare, we talked about dog hair earlier, but healthcare for animals as well as for humans, and we all know if we've got animals, it's as important, principal members of the family.
Exciting. And as you look at, are there any particular trends in any of these industries that you get excited about and think about folding into in a very household kind of way?
It's interesting, the trend piece, because we're looking at the market globally all the time. And actually what we are aiming to do is sort of almost cultivate our view and our opinion on that. And so we are thinking about customers in different ways. We're thinking about how they are shopping differently, experiencing differently, and this term hybrid customer, kind of leaning into hybrid experiences, which means combining how we do things. So whether that's online, offline, physical, having fun, taking off jobs. There's a number of things that constitute being a hybrid customer, and we're all that person. How we can sort of develop and create the brand experience piece that we talked about right at the start, how we think about that differently and how we engage across all channels, how physical and online actually come together more closely, because in the customer's mind, they're the same thing, they're related. I expect to be able to step from one to another. So that's massive. I think Julie just touched on it in terms of sort of buying behavior and wanting to be more in control. This is obviously something that's come out of, the digital worlds that we now occupy on a daily basis. And so the more need for control and personalization is a key trend, and how we sort of build that into how a brand delivers experiences and services, and enables, people to be able to make more decisions, and do more for themselves. So that's key. And actually the appropriateness of that, the right time, right place, that becomes part of, where are the dials for a certain brand, what's important, the human interaction, the digital moment, or a combination of both. Convenience never goes away. I think one of the things that we've been saying for a really long time is that every brand, no matter what end of the spectrum they are, whether they're sort of main street or, high end, everyone is in the convenience business. Convenience is one of the fundamental drivers of growth. And actually what convenience means to different sectors is super interesting and something that we feel very passionately about getting right for the type of customer audience that we're trying to connect with. I guess one of the big ones for us, we are behind this, if not driving it, we certainly want to pioneer it, is how retail, hospitality and entertainment come together. It's something that we are super interested in for brands. I think we sort of described it a little bit before. Certainly the Harry Potter flagship store. This will mean different things to different brands in different sectors, but it's certainly a very important facet of how we see brand experience going forward.
Yeah. Incredible. I just want to add one thing too. Jules, back to what you said, even about the grocery industry, the empathy component of being so realistic about the moment that people are under pressure and you're walking into the grocery store, the prices are higher and higher and higher. I've got a big family at home. I'm like, how did I just spend this much money on 5 things at Target? Whatever it is. But I love that component of empathy, which is something back to the household name and that human component. Yeah. There's just a thread of DNA that I think you guys bring to any industry. But I just wanted to call that out as I noticed it, particularly with grocery.
You're very smart. And I love the fact that you're highlighting that, because we do feel that way. And also, we call it particularly, and it's particularly for grocery because we know how sensitive it is. We talk about value for living instead of just value for money, because we want, when we're designing for people, even if they're in a lower income spectrum, they need to have a great experience too. So, this is something that we're always conscious about.
Significant. Well, I'd love to know one final question for both of you is, what are you most energized by in the moment and also curious about?
I love that question. It's great. I think, this is something that Michelle in particular is really exploring deeply, but it's something about integrating service technology into the experience is massively, massively important. And we're really, really looking at how we bring service technology in different ways into our customer journeys.
Yeah. Just to sort of elaborate on that a little bit, as we, the things that we talked about in terms of, personalization, control, and so on, the ways in which we could do that and think of tech or next gen AI in a sort of service companion mode, which could really personalize every journey wherever you are, whatever you're doing, would be sort of, it is very exciting to us and something that we're looking at.
Yeah, it's really true. I think, the thing that excites us are clients that are pioneers, that want to pioneer. We're really excited about live interaction. And one of the things, particularly in the entertainment world, so when we're constantly thinking about retail, entertainment, hospitality together, the things that we love to design for are enabling our customers or fans to access the stories and characters that they love from the shows that they love in new and exciting ways. And that could be in, through merch or through the Harry Potter flagship is an example of that. And we have worked with other entertainment brands in the same sort of way, bringing retail in or F&B, food and bev. So I think that's really, really exciting us, as is the possibility of merch as experience. So you can enjoy, so always enjoying the purchasing experience makes us very happy.
Yeah, and I think just to add one point, because we are sort of in a way designing these experiences, and we're sort of creating that shape for brands to engage more richly, more deeply, more purposefully with customers, with fans. It enables us to think differently around the strategic tools that we use, the frameworks that we create and invent. We're constantly thinking about the best way that we can do that for the brands that we work with to create that difference. And equally with our creative offering, using new types of tools and exploring the extent of what creativity can do to enable these new ways of interaction and behavior and sort of brand experience is a very rich environment for people inside household and also with our clients who we collaborate with. So, the curiosity feeds everything else.
Yes.
And it's a great way for us to evolve as a business.
I love that. And what stands out to me about you guys is you see connections in places that other people might perceive silos, or these details that you focus on and bring together cohesively. That's what sets a brand apart among the crowd, is considering how does merch become an experience for someone instead of just let's create this product that has this character or whatever. It really is thinking through what is that feeling that we want to invoke in our fans and our customers. So I wanted to reflect that back because it always stands out to me every time I speak to you guys of the way that you see such an interconnected world and all boiling down to that human, deeply empathetic lens that you have. So thank you.
Good. I'm glad it comes across.
It does. And I did want to say, we are sitting in Austin in a podcast studio here, and you're sitting in London. And thank you to technology for the opportunity to have this exciting conversation with you guys. And just want to say thank you again for being on the show, for packaging up your expertise for our audience. And I look forward to what we continue to do together as the conversation unfolds. So thank you.
The pleasure's ours. Thank you very much.